Welcome back. Today I'm going to be comparing two of the most popular 30 caliber cartridges for hunting. We're going to look at the .308 Winchester versus the .30-06 Springfield. I will briefly go over the history of these cartridges. We'll look at the ballistics and compare them to each other. And I will talk about which one might be best for you. If you enjoy the comparison videos, please like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into it. In 1952, Winchester developed the .308 Winchester. This was to replace the .30-06 as a military cartridge, and 2 years later, it was adopted by NATO, and it is the 7.62x51 NATO. The .308 Winchester became a very popular hunting rifle. What people had found was that it had almost the same performance as the .30-06, with less recoil and a shorter action, which meant a lighter rifle. And let's go ahead and look at the ballistics of hand loads. Let me get this .308 out of here. So let's look at where the .308 really excels, which is the 150 grain bullet. And Hornady says it goes 2,800 feet per second, and I know people have gotten it up to 29. Yeah, pretty good velocity. And then it also does well in the 165 grain bullet, which we will be comparing with the .30-06. And Hornady says 2,700 feet per second. Again, I think you could get a little bit more speed out of it, but pretty good velocity for this short little cartridge. It is a very efficient cartridge, as you will see when it's compared to the .30-06. The development of the .30-06 really started in 1903, and what we know it as today was introduced in 1906, and it has become one of the most popular hunting cartridges in the world. It is known as a very versatile cartridge, and so we're going to go ahead and look to see why it's so popular and how it's become so versatile. So let's go ahead and look at the ballistics. Let me move this .30-06. Now the .30-06, it shoots the 150, 165, and even the 180 really well. So looking at the 150 grain bullet, you're getting velocities at 3,000 feet per second. So about 200 feet per second quicker than the .308. Looking at the 168 grain, almost 3,000 feet per second. And in some books, it is 3,000 feet per second. But with Hornady, 2,950. And I will briefly mention the 188 grain bullet, 2,750, and there's a lot of people that can get over 2,800 out of it. So as you can see, it is extremely versatile. You can basically hunt from, prairie dog if you really wanted to, all the way up to moose. It's a great cartridge for hunting, and let's go ahead and look at a ballistic chart compared with the .308. Looking at the ballistics, the .308 Winchester with a 165 grain inner bond, so a hunting bullet, with a BC of .447, you're going to get muzzle velocity 2,750, so pretty good velocity, and that muzzle energy is 2,700 foot-pounds of energy. And then the recoil is a bit lighter than the .30-06 with 17, and hence why a lot of people will pick the .308 over the .30-06 because it's not going to kick as much, and there's not a huge difference with the velocity. Now looking out to about 400 yards, you're really pushing the limits with 400 yards for elk. But there's been so many elk taken with the .308 Winchester. It definitely is adequate. It's not my first choice, but it definitely can do it. So I would say within 350 yards, it's a pretty darn good choice for elk. And obviously it's a very good choice for deer. Using the same 165 grain inner bond bullet in the .30-06, you're getting a muzzle velocity when hand loaded of 2,950. So pretty fast, as I said. The energy is almost 3,200 foot-pounds. Now you're going to have a bit more recoil, as I said before, with 21. Then out to 400 yards, there's plenty of energy for elk. You're looking at around 1,700 foot-pounds of energy, which is about 300, almost 300 more foot-pounds of energy than the .308 Winchester. And so you're getting about a 100-yard advantage. And hence why this cartridge is so popular. It is extremely versatile. It can do everything pretty well. Lastly, I wanted to go over bullet selection. One advantage the .30-06 has is that it shoots the bigger bullets a bit quicker, and so it's a bit more viable. Now, that's not to say you can't shoot the bigger bullets in the .308, but for example, on the screen, from left to right, you have a 168 grain bullet, a 178 grain ELDX, and a 200 grain AccuBond. The .30-06 shoots the 178 or 180 grain pretty darn well, and it can even shoot a 200 grain. And the problems you have with the .308 is these long, heavy bullets, well, they go into the casing pretty far. I'm going to show you what it'd be like. Okay? So I have, let me see if we can focus, just 180 grain. You can see it goes in there pretty far. What does it look like when you put it with the 200 grain? Well, as you can see, it's going in that casing pretty darn far. So it really slows the bullet down. Now, when you compare it with the .30-06, yeah, it goes down there, but it's right around the shoulder. So there is a difference, as you can see. Hey guys, I really appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed the comparison. Both cartridges are extremely good, hence why they're so popular. I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. And thanks for watching.